Hi there. Today we will go over part 2 of my comprehensive combat guide for defense. In this part, as the name implies, we will go mostly over defense orientated stuff. Keep in mind I briefly already talked about defense in the first part. For a quick refresher, defense basically means like every point of defense you have equals 1% damage reduction. If you want to know how exactly the calculation behind defense works and all the different multipliers and how everything interacts with each other to get a high damage resistance, I encourage you to look at my video over here, Defense 101. I explained everything in detail there, so yeah. First off, let's go over the very basic functions. And first we will start with dodge. But before we go much into dodge, I want to go briefly over dodge sigils. So here we have the 3 sigils that can change our dodge in various ways, and I want to briefly go over them. So first off, let's start with flight over fight. What does flight over fight do? Attack power slower, but dodges are always perfect dodges. So what that means, your dodge, it has a animation where the start, right, it is invulnerable. That means if you dodge at the right time, you will not get hit. And during these times of invulnerability, if you dodge an attack, they will automatically get converted into a perfect dodge. So instead to having to dodge in like a very tight frame window before the attack hits you, you have basically the entire duration of the dodge to get a perfect dodge. This already goes into improved dodge. So when you have improved dodge level 15, enhanced dodge ability. So what does it mean? Basically, the animation of your dodge, it has a brief time at the end of the animation where you can get hit, right? And what enhanced dodging ability basically does is it increases the time in which you are invulnerable during a dodge animation. So it prolongs it basically. So there's actually a really strong combo, flight over fight with improved dodge, that makes it really easy to get perfect dodges constantly, to proc like Sigils, to get SBA gain and all that kind of stuff. So that's actually a combo I use in my tank cheater build as well to make my team invulnerable with substitute. And lastly, we have Untouchable. So dodge farther while on the ground. So Untouchable basically just makes it so your dodge goes a longer distance. Now, I actually did some testing because I was curious if the distance is longer, is the dodge animation longer? And I will show a little clip here that shows that the animation is actually the same. So I basically went in frame by frame and just compared them and then put them like side by side. So here's a little clip. So as you can see, using Untouchable, it does not give you like more end lag, it does not increase the animation of your dodge. It basically makes your dodge travel a longer distance but at the same time. These are the 3 dodge sigils. Also, one thing worth mentioning is the sigils that give you increased invincibility after a perfect dodge, they can give you only up to 3. So there are multiple sigils that can give you up to 3 seconds, but they all go into the same pool. And the max invincibility increase that you can gain is 3 seconds. So if you have 3 seconds from one sigil and 3 seconds from another, it will only ever be 3 seconds. Basically, the max invincibility time you can have during a perfect dodge is 6 seconds if you use sigils, and without sigils, your perfect dodge invulnerability lasts 3 seconds. So 3 second space, 6 seconds in total if you use any sigils that boost the invincibility time. Now, as I previously mentioned, when you just about before an attack hits you, it gets turned into a perfect dodge. I do not actually know how many frames you have to do this, and as you also talked previously, dodging can be used to cancel a lot of our animations. And I would say let's go into an actual fight. When you have situations like these, I would also always recommend you always hold your block and try to dodge when you're about to get hit. I've seen a lot of people make the mistake when they want to dodge attacks and mechanics. They always run around and they're like headless chickens, you know. And to be consistent in your defense, you should always hold your block while dodging. The reason for that is also because while you're in the animation of your dodge where you do not have invulnerability, you can actually still block attacks. So let's see here. You see I dodged too early and I still blocked the attack. So this is a very, very important technique that you should learn. Next up, we'll talk about guard. So guard, much like dodging, if you guard in the perfect time just before you're about to get hit, you can get something called a perfect guard. Perfect guard does not give you invulnerability for a time as dodging does, but it has the advantage that you can proc your guard sigils multiple times in a quick succession. There's also a unique interaction that if an attack is multi-hit and hits very quickly in succession, you can actually hit the first perfect guard and it will automatically perfect guard all the following attacks if you keep holding the button. Now this is not very common and I don't really know many places where they can actually be used, but it's something to keep in mind. Your shield, when you press guard, you can see your shield pops up. So this is basically your guard health. It starts out as blue, then it turns yellow, and if I take even more damage, it will slowly turn into red. Once you're in red, the next attack will guard break you guaranteed. And as you can see, my shield is still red after I got guard broken. So this basically means once you have depleted your guard shield, you have to wait out time until it recovers. So after a while you see here the animation. That means that my shield is recovered, now it's back to blue. As you can see, some attacks can also just outright guard break you. Now there is a sigil that can help you with that, that's called Improved Guard. It increases your guard health basically. Makes it so enemies do up to 50% reduced guard damage to you. So that basically means double, right? You can take double as much hits. As I said, but every attack is unique. Some attacks just guard break you really quickly. And if you especially fight something like Lucilius, a lot of the attacks will simply just completely obliterate you through your guard. But you should not think of block as an inferior option. You should see guard as something that complements your dodging. As I said before, dodging is really, really strong in this game, but you can make your defense a lot stronger just by using block in conjunction with guard. So if there is something like Lucilius, I will maybe put a clip here, where you get attacked really, really frequently and you don't really know from where you're gonna get attacked, like in Gopherwood Arc, then you can just, you know, hold your guard, dodge whenever you think you're about to get hit, and that way you can also way more reliably try to get perfect dodges, because you're not as afraid to get hit, right? Because you know you have your block. So even if I dodge too late, I at least have the block. That's also something that makes perfect guard a lot more difficult, because when you try to perfect guard, you do not have any backup options, right? But with perfect dodging, you always have the option of guarding. So I would recommend you make it a habit. If you dodge, hold your guard button. if you know that AoEs are coming, hold the guard button and then dodge. It will make your gameplay way more consistent. Well, another thing worth mentioning is that while you're actually attacking, you can hold your block button to guard. In the same vein, you can actually tap your block as well to perfect guard while you're attacking. So I will showcase this here. When I get sucked in, I will just keep attacking him. And I will hold the block while I do attack him. And you will see I will block the spheres that drop down from the top. Or at least I would if I would get hit by that. So you just saw there, I did block during my attack. But I got guard broken, but you know, like, I just wanted to showcase that option, so that is something that you can do as well. So another thing that you can actually do is, when you use your SBA, you are invulnerable during the startup. So I will purposefully walk into a trap there to trigger the AoE, and then I will SBA so you can see that I'm not gonna take damage. So you saw, as soon as you start up your SBA animation, you have invulnerability. And of course, if you hit your SBA for the duration of the entire SBA, you are also invulnerable. So that's also a little defensive technique that you can use. So yeah, that's it for this part. This one is gonna be a little bit shorter simply because there's not too many defensive techniques that we can use. But I hope that what I showed you here can help you. I believe some of the knowledge that I share here is not common knowledge, at least I saw a lot of people who didn't know these kind of things, so I hope that helps you too. And for part 3, we will go more into in-depth things, into manipulating AI, also talk more about SBAs, way more different things. I cannot really categorize it, so I'm also not really sure how I'm gonna title the third video. And I also apologize that I've not been making much content lately. It's just a lot is going on and a lot of mental health related stuff, and it's both difficult to find the motivation but also the strength to not let anxiety overcome me from actually making content. So yeah, as I said, I hope this one helps you, and hopefully part 3 won't have to wait as long. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye bye.